Good morning, aspirants. Today is 1st of September and I welcome you all on my series in What to Read in the Hindu newspaper. I am 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃 𝗔𝗍𝗔, Senior Mentor at Prepp IAS. While going through the articles, we will not only see its relevance from the lens of prelims and mains, but will also try to interlinking it with other GS papers as well. I am here to align your newspaper reading as a part of our GS syllabus. So let's get started. The very first article that holds our attention in today's Hindu newspaper is about India-China committed to fair resolution of border issues, said Mr. Modi. So now this particular article is relevant for GS paper 2, international relations, bilateral relations, border dispute in our neighborhood. So in this manner, this particular article is to be seen. For prelims perspective, the areas that we have to brush up our knowledge on is about SEO submit, its location, member countries, and its significance. Then this can even be linked with the recent terror incident that has been there in the Indian subcontinent. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen from the lens of India-China border management, then balancing border dispute with cooperation, terrorism as a common ground for diplomacy. This can be linked with other GS papers as well, wherein essay can be quoted from putting an argument like border and security issues nowadays in multipolar world. So in this manner, this particular article is to be seen holistically while going through it. Moving on, the next important article that is worth our attention is mini cloudbursts are on rise, says IMD chief. Now, when we map this particular article in our GS syllabus, it will fall under GS paper 1, physical geography, wherein monsoon pattern has been discussed. GS paper 3, disaster management and environment as a theme can be quoted. Now, from prelims perspective, the areas that we need to brush up our knowledge on, IMD, its function, monsoon cycle, traditional versus the changing patterns that we are observing nowadays, forecasting challenges and disaster preparedness that India has. This can be interlinked with essay paper as well, wherein uncertain climate and resilient India can be quoted. Right? In this manner, this particular article is to be seen while going through the newspaper today. The next important article that is worth our attention is on editorials page that says, renewed focus. India and Japan showed that their ties were stable amid a global churn. So this will fall under GS paper 2, bilateral, multilateral, Quad, UNSC reforms. These all areas that can be mapped while going through this particular article in our syllabus. This can even be relevant for GS paper 3, wherein economy, technology, and critical infrastructure can be quoted, as India and Japan are important partners that are creating new tech infrastructure in India and in other countries as well. The key theme that has been discussed over here is next generation partnership, semiconductors, high-speed rail, supply chain resilience. From prelims perspective, the areas that we need to brush up our knowledge is on the MOUs signed between them, Vision 2035, Quad facts, then semiconductor mission that India has posed. From mains perspective, the same article can be seen tech security, Indo-Pacific, balancing US tariffs and Chinese competition under the uncertain global scenario that is there in current times. This can even be interlinked with other GS papers in a manner, GS paper 1, wherein cultural exchange with regard to India and Japan can be quoted, as there are many initiatives in the form of sister city missions that have been launched by the two countries together. Moving on, the next important article that is important to read from today's newspaper is India's economic churn, the nectar of growth. Now written by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. So in this article, there has been certain focused area that has been there is with regard to economic facts. From syllabus point of view, this particular article will fall under GS paper 3, economy, energy security and industrial policy. GS paper 2 as well, welfare schemes and governance can be linked while going through this particular article. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article is about from crisis to reform, growth data, energy reform, poverty reduction that has been done over the past few years. Prelims angle, the same article is to be seen from the lens of the GDP trends from the last 15 20 years that has been there. Then energy statistics, schemes such as PLI, 𝗵𝗵𝗃 OALP, that is open acreages policy. I have licensing policy. I have underlined this already there in the article. From mains perspective, the same article is to be seen from the angle of India's growth model, balancing reforms with inclusivity, energy transition that is there. We can even interlink with other GS papers in a form of essay argument that can be written as India's economic model. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So in this manner, this particular article is to be seen from today's paper while mapping our GS syllabus with regard to it. The next important article that is worth our attention is about giving wings to India's youth. Now, from syllabus mapping point of view, this will fall under GS paper 2, welfare schemes, social justice, GS paper 3, employment and economic development. The key theme that has been discussed over here is demographic dividend. Approximately 3.5 crores jobs plan that is being launched by the government, and social security expansion that has been over the period of time in the past. And at the same time, from prelims perspective, the fact and data that we have to try looking at while going through this particular article is what are the features of PM Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana. From mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of employment as nation building at the time of automation and AI risk that is there. Job formalization is the need of the hour. We can even interlink it with other GS papers in a form of GS paper 4, wherein ethics under the theme dignity of labor can be quoted. So in this manner, this particular article is to be seen holistically. Moving on, the next important article that is there to read in today's Hindu newspaper talks about the importance of India's federal design. Now, from GS mapping point of view, this will fall under GS paper 2, federalism, center and state relations and constitution of India that can be quoted. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article is processes of state creation and reorganization. There has been a recent query by Supreme Court about Jammu and Kashmir status altogether. The prelims perspective, the articles that we need to know from this particular article is Article 3 and 4 of Indian Constitution, wherein creation of state has been discussed. From mains perspective, the same article can be seen from the angle of federalism versus unitary tilt that Indian Constitution has. Also, balancing integration with autonomy as well can be linked with other papers in a form of essay, wherein India's federal compact, its strength and strains can be quoted as a part of your argument, giving several instances and examples altogether. Moving on, the next important article that is worth our attention in today's Hindu newspaper is about NGO Educate Girls wins Ramman Magsaysay Award. Now, when we map this particular article in our GS paper, this will fall under GS paper 2, social justice, education and vulnerable sections. GS paper 4 as well, role of civil society altogether. GS paper 2 as well, wherein role of NGOs can be quoted. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article is bridging education gap for girl children. That is community-based learning that has been emphasized in this particular article. From prelims perspective, we need to know about Ramman Magsaysay Award, Educate Girl NGO initiatives, role of NGO altogether, as how they contribute in several sectors where government cannot reach, but they are the cornerstone of development of India's story. From male's perspective, the same article is to be seen. Role of NGOs in human capital development, education, and employment. At the same time, there has been several allegations with regard to illegal funding that many of the NGOs get. So, role of FCRA regulations, who controls them? So, these all are the areas that we have to keep in mind while going through this particular article. Moving on, the next important article that is worth our attention is simplifying the mammoth Income Tax Act in 6 months. Now, this will fall under GS Paper 3 Economy, wherein tax reforms and governance has been discussed. GS Paper 2, Transparency and Accountability with regard to India's taxation system. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article is rationalization of 1961 IT Act, wherein earlier 819 sections were there, which has now been reduced to 536 sections in a plain language model, which was earlier very complex in nature and very difficult to understand. From prelims perspective, the same article is to be seen from the lens of Income Tax Act 1961, role of CBDT. From mains perspective, this is to be seen from the lens of ease of doing business, whether this incorporate it or increase it or not, legal simplification process, taxpayer confidence that this particular provision will increase in the mind of common people or not. This can even be interlinked with other GS papers in a manner, GS paper 2 governance. Even essays argument can be put under the theme as simplifying laws for a complex society like India. So this is all from my end from today's Hindu newspaper. Till we meet for the next time, keep learning, keep growing. All the best.